And here's the thing: if he ain't smacked Ruby Rose, I doubt that he was smacked out of that chick. Because Ruby Rose is literally a thought, big thought. And someone, I think Zia told a story one time of how she like yanked this chain and like it ripped, and he didn't hit her after that. He wanted to, but he didn't. So if he could restrain himself there, DDG doesn't strike me as a woman beater. So
hi, my name is Akeem, and I am the founder, chairman, CEO, president, vice president, and the dean of Ran-DomU University. We offer a vast variety of courses, everything from psychology of the fake alpha male to cringe studies to pause 101. Now, if you're interested in joining this university, please call or text the number on the screen at 1555 Ran-DomU. Are you ready? Well, you guys, I always have to find a way to mix in, bashing Myron. Again! Because it's too easy. He always delivers when it comes to giving us something to eat on out here as far as content. I keep saying it. It's something that I want to get away from. I'm telling you, it is just like an itch that I got to scratch, just like the homeboy I talked about in that wild documentary about when he had the crazy meat beating, dynamic going on in his brain where he couldn't control himself. He just kept over and over and over again. He couldn't stop. He just couldn't stop and, help himself. I'm the same way when it comes to talking about Myron. I just can't help it. I'm sick. It's a sickness. It really is. And it's a disease that I need to get over. And it's causing my channel to be hurt in the algorithm because it keeps putting my stuff in manosphere. I talked about, 100 men versus, one gorilla, and somehow it ended up in red pill. And the same thing happened with the direwolf situation. And once again, YouTube just isn't getting with the program. Well, one day they will. Well, today we're talking about Myron and the fact that he will do anything to hold women accountable, including siding with his Opps.
I make fun of DDG all the time. I think he's stupid. I think he's low IQ, but I don't think he's over here beating on his chick. And if he is, that's some pussy shit.
Yeah, he doesn't give vibes.
But he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't give me woman beater vibes, bro. Be honest with y'all. He does not give me woman beater vibes.
Woman beater vibes. Who gives off woman beater vibes? Is it just somebody who's angry all the time, somebody who gets into fights, somebody who always has very tense body language, somebody who makes everybody very uncomfortable in the room? Well, there's plenty of people that I know just like that. I have a guy who, one of my good friends growing up, that it was hard to always take him to play basketball or take him to play flag football because he had a really quick trigger. And those folks, they got that hairline trigger that it doesn't take much to get them to pop off. Either that or somebody is messing with one of their boys and they are ready to fight. It's always good to have one of these people in your crew, but it doesn't mean that they beat women. It doesn't mean that they do some of the other things that they talk about. All it means is that they have a quick trigger and that they're ready to go almost at any point in time. Now, this guy, he got in, all sorts of trouble plenty of times. He got arrested numerous times for getting into trouble, whether it was just gooning out with some guys, whether they were getting into shenanigans, mostly involving fighting. But he never once was accused of slapping up any of the women that he had kids with. Never once, never had those accusations take place. He had a whole bunch of other ones. He had a couple of other, assault charges, but they were on guys. Apparently the man had rules, internally, even though he was psychologically a little bit loose, with the screws up there. He did have some morality when it came to women. Didn't beat them, didn't beat his kids, but he would beat one of them dudes' ass at a moment's notice. I mean, I'm telling you, this dude would pop off in a matter of seconds. I'll tell you somebody else, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was a guy that women loved. He seemed very charismatic to women. So charismatic, as a matter of fact, that he was able to lure out and murder savagely over 70 different women. He was so charismatic. He was so outstanding of a human being, or at least on the surface, he seemed so normal that he actually was a good lawyer in court. He represented himself, and he represented himself very well. The only problem was he was 1,000,000,000% guilty of all of those murders. That was his biggest issue. It's like, I'm sorry, you did really well. You put up a very compelling case and a compelling fight against us today. Like, you did well fighting against the defense, but I'm sorry, you're taking this L because we know you did it. And I mean, you were very convincing. You sounded like somebody who had actually really studied law. But guess what? You're a psychopath. He didn't, come off as somebody who would give women beater vibes, but yet he was murdering women on the side. So you never really know. Somebody who's crazy, pop off, looks like the stereotypical YN, never accused of hitting women. Then you got Ted Bundy, just all American white guy over here. Looks like he could, star in a movie like Tom Cruise, but instead he's out here chopping heads off on the side. Yeah, like it's a normal hobby that he's putting women through the meat grinder. You know what I'm saying? But hey, he didn't get those vibes.
And here's the thing: if he ain't smacked the shit out of Ruby Rose, I doubt that he would smack the shit out of that chick. Because Ruby Rose is literally a thought, big thought. And someone, I think Zia told a story one time of how she like yanked this chain and like it ripped, and he didn't hit her after that. He wanted to, but he didn't. So if he could restrain himself there, DDG doesn't strike me as a woman beater. So
at this point in time, I'm getting awfully concerned for the safety of Ruby Rose for as often as Myron seems to bring her up. It doesn't matter who or what he's talking about. Ruby Rose can just start catching strays. It doesn't matter what conversation comes up. Ruby Rose's name always ends up in his mouth. He loves Ruby Rose. I'm convinced at this point in time that he wants to clap them cheeks so much that he might end his own life if he doesn't get the chance to here soon. Because he brings her up all the time. It's like he's got some type of sick fetish. Like there is something deeply wrong with Myron with his relationship with her. Like something has to have happened. I mean, maybe he got robbed. You know, maybe she mugged him. Maybe she drugged him and then just he woke up in the morning and didn't have none of his shit. Maybe that's what Ruby Rose did to him. Maybe they got close and then their relationship deteriorated. I mean, something has to have happened. Because seriously, why does her name always come up? And he's always fine if somebody was to put their hands on her. What this plugged in Myron is with all these online internet topics, you got to know that he is chronically online and he's got the internet disease. Well, I saw a skit the other day from Trey Rags that really reminded me of Myron. Now, this is completely random, but I thought it was fitting.
All right, guys, ready to start this TikTok love?
Yup, we're ready, boss. Let's do it.
No. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. He unfollowed her on Instagram this morning.
He did?
Yeah, I don't think they're together anymore. He has 4 kids and he has never made one Instagram post with any of his kids.
That's a bad dad.
Man, these celebrities, they do not be trying to take care of their kids.
Now, his ops in this situation today is DDG, another guy who is known as basically being a YouTube rapper, versus streamer. He is the guy who is the baby daddy of Halle Bailey. And he is the individual who now is apparently accused of putting hands on Halle Bailey, which is unfortunate. Now, once again, this is just accusations. These are just accusations. But people will always jump out and say that they know the truth definitively, and they just don't. You don't have the facts. Nothing has been reported. We really don't know anything other than it's accusations. Now, Myron could be 1,000% right in his assessment of this situation, but we just don't know. What happens in these things is that when you have followers, a lot of times, a good chunk of his followers, especially since they're Gen A and Gen Z, they don't really have minds of their own yet. Their brains haven't developed. They tend to follow the crowd. They tend to develop the mindset of the people they like to follow. So when you're out here spewing this, they start believing it. This is what they start telling their friends. This is what their friends start telling their friends, and their friends start telling their friends, and then it just becomes a wild story. Then everybody just says, "Oh my God, Halle Bailey. She's just obviously just another gold digging 304 who's clearly out here clout chasing and just trying to claim the baby over the daddy, and then just trying to make him seem to be a bad guy," which that could be the truth, but we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, bro. I think she's probably making this shit up to take the kid from him. That's what I think, chat. Because I know that they've had this custody battle. She don't want him having the son like that. She's using that shit as leverage. So, despite the fact that I have my disagreements with DDG, I don't think he's a woman beater, and I hope he gets access to his son. You know what I mean? Because you need your son at the end of the day. And I'm not gonna fucking, kick him while he's down on this bullshit. Because I think that chick is lying, bro. Fuck that shit.
This is a good thing that Myron is out here willing to actually let bygones be bygones. I'm not going to hold it against my ops because he might be accused of slapping his woman around. I don't believe it. You know why I don't believe it? Because I don't believe any woman. Every woman lies about everything. Anytime a woman says that she likes you, she's lying. Anytime a woman says that she wants your D, she is lying. Anytime a woman says that she really wants to be an aspiring CEO, she's lying. Anytime a woman says that she's pregnant, she's lying. Everything is a lie, especially when she says that you beat her, even though she might actually have legitimate black eyes. You never know. But there's always a lie, and that's what Myron's trying to tell you today, that women are lying again, and that I will defend my ops over women.
Me and DDG can have our problems, but I hope he gets a son. I don't wish that upon any man. Look, man, I think she's lying. I keep it 1,000 with y'all. I think she's lying so she can get custody of the kid, right? I'm not gonna let my dislike for DDG lie on his name. I think this bitch lying. I'm gonna be 1,000 with y'all, and I have no reason to even say that. Like, me and him are enemies, but I'll be fucking damned if some bitch is gonna lie on a guy to keep him away from his kid. She's been doing this shit for a minute. All right? Like, she's been doing this shit for a minute, trying to keep him from his son. So I think that this is a play to keep her from the son. Having a restraining order against your baby daddy is one of the best ways to make sure that you get 100% custody. I've seen the game, baby. I've seen the game. So I'm not going to let my disagreements or my dislike of DDG cloud my judgment. Fuck that bitch. She's probably lying. And yeah, man, like I said before, I could disagree with someone or not like them the most, but still see the bullshit, bro. So yeah, I don't buy it, bro. I don't buy it.
The reason that this really proves that Myron hates women is that with no evidence, no facts, no real news to report in this situation, he will side with the man, even if that person is somebody he cannot stand. He does not know Halle Bailey, but he does know DDG. I don't know much about DDG outside of the fact that he used to get clown, or Halle Bailey used to get clown for the fact that she got knocked up by a YouTube rapper, which really he's a streamer. They didn't get the thing right. And he's a really big streamer at that. And that was also during the era where people really weren't up on the game as far as like streamers make a lot more money than everybody else, especially somebody like him who was constantly streaming. Those people make bank. He was doing well for himself. For those people who were out there trying to say he was a bum, they had no idea what they were talking about. They were so far from the truth. I mean, my God, they sound like idiots when you like listen to it. But despite that point, DDG, we don't know if he's guilty or not. He may seem like a nice guy, but you don't know people behind the closed doors. You really don't know how people will react. Sort of like how you see people crash out in video games behind the scene where they just, especially like those little white kids who get angry and the first thing they think of is just the N-word. And the reason why they say the N-word is because they know that that is just a terrible word to say. It sounds terrible coming out the mouth. They know it sounds terrible coming out of their mouths. They sound angry. They sound like they're ready to get the rope, ready to call up the mob, get the tiki torches, get the fence posts. You know what I'm saying? Rally the troops. But I just, that's what they're willing to do when it comes to that point. But those people, you never know. Those people who act like that, they might not ever touch a woman because they're deep down too scared to go to jail. The people who are lashing out with the crazy racist tirades on video games might not ever lay hands on a woman. And all they do is give off woman beater vibes. Never know. Just because somebody's really nice, they're kind, they seem very professional, they're always prepared, they're always well dressed, they smell good. They know how to communicate with everybody. Everybody seems to adore them out in public. But with their spouse, whenever that he gets home, he changes. He's a different guy. Next thing you know, he's walking around a house with a wife beater on and sweatpants on and a pair of black Air Forces. That's his regular home attire. That's his PJs, and we just don't know it. He just cleans up real well every day he goes to work. I'm just saying, man, I mean, you cannot judge these things that early. You have to give it time. Just like the Carmella Anthony and the Austin Metcalf situation. Once again, this is just a race to see who's right first. Grifting, playing to the audience, playing to the crowd, playing the hits. Myron just cannot help himself but play the hits. It's all he does. Well, anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about in this video. I didn't want to waste a bunch of your time trying to get out these videos faster, even though sometimes I tend to ramble and I don't realize how long the ramble is. Also going to release some videos or clips from the live stream that I had with Watts TV and Illogics. I mean, that was a really funny live stream, just some random topics we talked about. But anyway, see you soon.